Hello, my name is John Frankel. I'm a professor of Korean and comparative literature at Yonsei University's Underwood International College. That's my day job. Brewing and drinking Korean traditional alcohol is not my job, but I would say it's more than a hobby. It's something I don't do for a living, but I'm very passionate about it. I spend a lot of time and energy and love pursuing it. Today I'm taking part in a very important project, the name of which in Korean is 한국 전통주 릴레이샷, which I guess means traditional liquor relay, as in a relay race, shot, as in a shot of alcohol. And I'll be passing the baton, or cup, as it were, at the end of this video. In any case, I'd like to begin giving you some thoughts in no particular order on traditional Korean brewing practices and traditional Korean alcohol. Not the things you find in the supermarket. The reason I chose to come here, this is, by the way, we're at 장자의 나비 in 인사동. It's a somewhat unique place in that they brew their own. And this is a home brew. I'll talk about it a bit later. But it's carrying on a long tradition of home brewing in Korea. And that's somewhat different than what we think of with homebrewed beer, in that it's a at least in terms of recorded recipes, 500-year-old, but probably more like 1,000-year-old tradition in Korea, where there weren't commercial breweries, but every household had their own particular recipes and their own brewing culture. And in fact, the recipes for things like this were contained in cookbooks. There was no stark division, or any division at all really, between food and drink. The Korean word for food, in fact, is 음식, which means drink and food. So there's no real separation. And in all of these recipes, and there are many, extant recipes were included alongside recipes for food, and that's why I like to enjoy it in a place like this that does excellent home-style Korean food as well as excellent homebrew. And my thoughts are that this is growing. I mean, there are issues, there are problems. You might be surprised to find how few Koreans even know about this restaurant and this tradition. But there are a small but growing number of committed Koreans and expats as well, committed to expanding knowledge of this sort of brewing culture and drinking culture. I'm happy to be here, and I'm really happy to recommend this place. Of course, I often drink mass-produced brews as well, but I thought if I were going to come out and do a video, it would be appropriate to do something that most people might not have access to or knowledge of. What we're drinking today, they call 가양주, which is simply literally home brewed alcohol. They have three versions here. This is the 막걸리 version. It's unfiltered, probably comes in about 10%. They have a clear filtered version. People familiar with Japanese sake might recognize it as something close to that, although in many significant respects quite different. That would come in closer to 18%. And then they actually do two sojus where they distill this. They have one that comes in at about 44% and one that comes in at a whopping 77%. So that's 154 proof for you Americans. They're all wonderful. They all start with the same base, and it's just additional refinement and additional processing which gets you into clearer and higher alcohol contents. It's wonderful. I think I brew my own and I like my own, but this is the finest version or expression of this particular drink that I've had in Korea. It's not the 5% makgeolli you'll find in the store. I said 10%, it might be closer to 12, so it's pretty potent, about like wine. And finally, since this is the relay, I would like to hand the baton and hand the cup to my esteemed colleague at Yonsei University, Professor Paul Tonks. Konbae.
One shot.
Delicious.